Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure. And this is my perspective. So I have something that's sort of related to live stream I did talking about Nick Fuentes being on Fresh and Fit and Black women, a lot of Black women, these hyenas that I talk about, the gynocrats are white supremacists. And one of the prime things that she was called upon to do was to have children for the system in order to support the system of white supremacy from a cultural and especially an environmental basis. Because when we talk about the system of so-called white supremacy, it needs a slave class. It needs a group of people to grind on so that the system can grind them into the ground and stand above them. And Black people in America, Black men specifically, have typically been the cannon fodder. So I wanted to show you guys a quick short of a Black woman sort of explaining that concept. Now there's language there. You know, she's got a bonnet on and she's a single mom, and she's telling you from the experience of being the single mom / welfare queen, the reality of the children and that mentality. And I think people really need to hear it. We hear it and we don't hear it. I think it goes into one ear and out of the other. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share my screen and we are going to take a look at it. Here we go.
We were handed it. But welfare gave us all that we needed to say, fuck that nigga. And then we wonder why we have to return our children to their fathers, which is the prison system, because the government is your baby daddy. Now give us our son. We fed him through food stamps. We housed him through HUD and Section 8. We the baby daddy. Give us our child. And they get to the point where they come collect. And now we look, and it's a pandemic, and it's an epidemic of melanated men in the prison system, going back to their daddy, Uncle Sam, who raised them via food stamps and welfare and Section 8. And if we don't do something about it, we'll just continue to perpetuate the cycle. And I don't talk about what I don't know about. Because shit, I got jammed up because after my life changed, I didn't want to let the motherfucking system go when I didn't need it anymore. And I got fucked up behind keeping an apartment, keeping a Section 8 apartment. Thinking to myself, if I was ever to be homeless again, me and my baby's gonna always have somewhere to go. And the motherfucker reported me to welfare. I got real fucked up behind that shit. I don't talk about what I don't know about, baby. I'm single mama. Didn't create welfare.
I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. So she's just stating facts, and she's doing it from the perspective of the single mother who says she got caught up in the whole shebang, whole system. If the system is the baby daddies of Black children, she's his woman. Okay? This is why I said in the live stream that I did about the Nick Fuentes situation, that's their man. They agree with their man. The deal was to hand the children over to the system. And this is what she said. We told the men to go. The government had given us everything that we needed to tell those dudes that they could kick rocks. And that was like 70 years ago, really. And Black women have perpetuated the mindset even if she's not necessarily a welfare queen, what she has done was still perpetuate the mindset to girls that you don't need a man and sending the boys to the system. That system is still going, regardless of the fact of whether or not a lot of Black women are welfare queens. I would say it's not as many as it used to be that's generationally just on welfare, although it's quite a few. Quite a few on Section 8, because when Section 8 stopped, a lot of Black women were getting evicted, especially after the pandemic was over and after those moratoriums were over. We've got a lot of Black women who know how to game the system, but the system isn't doing it anymore, going into the shelter. And if you go into a woman's shelter, you sign up on the waiting list for Section 8 and you get bumped to the top because your situation is considered to be an emergency. And we've got women sitting in women's shelters with Section 8 vouchers that were actually given. But then we've got real estate companies and landlords that are not taking the vouchers. We've got cuts, okay, that states are doing in their budget that is limiting food stamps and EBT and SNAP benefits and TAMP benefits. These are the things that a lot of Black women are using to get by. This is why she can have 3, 4, 5 kids, don't get married to the fathers of those children, and still will call herself not needing him, because the children do have a father who's in their lives every day, and it's Zaddy. So this is why I speak about single motherhood the way that I do. It's not just the appearance value of single motherhood. It is the intrinsic and interwoven mindset between single motherhood and its service to white supremacy, how it serves a detrimental system, a system that is meant to crush us. And Black women actually celebrate single motherhood. When we talk about being wives, they down that, oh, I don't have to be a wife in order to be a mother. You don't. But why would you do that? Because there's already a deal on the table. It doesn't include joining forces with Black men and becoming strong nuclear families. That works against white supremacy. And these gynocrats are not going to work against a white supremacy, because that is the sucker. That is the sustenance for them. This is why we shouldn't be surprised at a whole circle of bed wenches kikiing it up with Nick Fuentes, because they share his sentiment, especially when it comes to Black people. They twerked on him because that's always been the bed wench's bargaining chip between herself and white supremacy, is her sex. Because her womb serves him not by having his children, but by having Black men's children to be crushed by the system and fed to the system. That's how her womb serves white supremacy. We talked about Planned Parenthood and it being ran by Margaret Sanger, who was a known eugenicist. That's just a cute word for white supremacists who focus on population and depopulation or population control of the so-called slave class, utilizing the seeking of biological control, utilizing culture and environment. I know sometimes y'all look for me to be going off, but we have to come away sometimes from the emotion and get to the education piece. Okay? So jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host of Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.